Hello and welcome to a new weekly Keeping in Touch presentation called MORE TEA VICAR. I know that many of my colleagues prefer something to drink which is a little stronger, but I don't think at 3 o'clock in the afternoon it's very appropriate. After 6, yes, a nice glass of red with dinner. Well, this new weekly broadcast encompasses some of what I was doing on Wednesday at 10. We will continue to have some local and national news, as well as some Holy Trinity Weymouth news, but we will also hear from other contributors. Over the next few weeks we will hear from our Holy Trinity Church Sunday School, people from our Holy Trinity congregation sharing their thoughts about life in lockdown. And we will hear reflections from our bishops on all manner of things, as well as music slots from James and Lizzie, some of my ramblings as I go around the country, and lots more. I hope that you will all enjoy watching each week. So then I hope you're now sitting comfortably with your cup of tea, and let's begin by seeing a beautiful summer view looking towards Weymouth from Portland, looking over Chesil Beach and Fortuneswell. So now for our news section. There was some bits of good news, certainly in West Dorset during lockdown, regarding some of our village shops and pubs. Some pubs were doing takeaways and served several meals to their communities and beyond. Similarly, for some village shops, their takings increased because people were doing as they were told, to stay at home and venture out as close to home as possible. But now, what of the future? Will supermarkets take over again now people can travel further afield? Well, I want to urge you all of you, to support your local businesses, your corner shops and your pubs and your post office. It's quite heartbreaking to see businesses close and know that people will be thrown out of work. Similarly, in Weymouth and Dorchester, we are beginning to see empty shops and businesses closing. Furthermore, if you're a landlord and you rent to a business and that business is struggling, please give them a chance. Better to have someone in your building than empty premises. Community is about working together for the benefit of each other. Well, now some Holy Trinity church news. And I'm delighted to say that our new director of music, James, and his wife Lizzie, are moved into their new home, and James will be playing the organ and Lizzie will be cantoring at our 10 a.m. Eucharist this coming Sunday. So a warm welcome to you both, and we look forward to working with you. Anyone wishing to book organ or piano or singing lessons with James or Lizzie, please call us at the office on 01305 760354 and we will be pleased to put you in contact with them. Some of you may be wondering where the parish magazine is. Well, the magazine we've decided to postpone producing until later on in the year for obvious reasons. Please do look on the parish website on www.holytrinityweymouth.org for any forthcoming future dates. Sadly, we have had to postpone the Vox Serenata concert planned for Holy Trinity at the end of August. However, we will reschedule as soon as we're able to use our church buildings again safely and to their full capacity. Some other bits of news from the diocese, our own Diocese of Salisbury. It has been announced that the Reverend Canon Jonathan Triffitt has been appointed to the post of Director of Mission and Ministry and Deputy Diocesan Secretary. Jonathan has been serving as Rector of Blandford Forum and Langton Long and will lead a team to support and resource our local churches. And we look forward to meeting Jonathan, seeing him and working with him on those three key areas: discipleship, leadership, community and transformation. And this will be across all levels, benefice, deanery and diocesan, Board of Education and schools, with an approach that is about thinking both locally and with a collective diocesan mindset. Well, we've had some sad news in the last week or so that Bishop John Neal, who was Bishop of Ramsbury from 1974 to 1988, died on July the 17th. He was 93. Bishop John was Bishop of Ramsbury and Archdeacon of Wiltshire and continued as Bishop of Ramsbury until 1988. He served in retirement as an assistant bishop in this diocese, as well as an assistant bishop in the Diocese of Bath and Wells, Bristol and Gloucester. He lived for the last few years in a residential home near Bath. A few days prior, Bishop Nicholas visited and celebrated communion with him, of course wearing gloves, mask and gown. I remember Bishop John Neal when I was at theological college. He used to quite often pop in. He had a most wonderful sense of humour. Well, a few weeks ago, you will have been aware that Bishop Nicholas, the Bishop of Salisbury, produced a video and an appeal, an emergency appeal for the Sudans, of course, which our diocese supports. And we need your help to reach our £50,000 target. We launched the appeal as a diocese at the start of the month after receiving the shocking news from Archbishop Ezekiel Kondo in Khartoum. They would rather die, he said, of COVID than hunger. While inflation and starvation is reaching record levels in Sudan, poor sanitation in the refugee camps means the coronavirus is able to spread freely among a weakened population. Meanwhile, lockdown means that the healthy are unable to work, and what wages they receive cannot begin to cover the inflated prices for even basic foodstuffs. Many are hungry. Many cannot feed their families. Many fear contracting a virus in a country where there are less than 10 ventilators available for the whole population. And that's why our appeal is for food and soap in this diocese. Your money can provide food for our brothers and sisters in the Sudans who are starving. It can buy materials so their Mothers Union members can make 20,000 masks and help to buy other PPE. It can pay for life-saving sanitizers and basic hand washing facilities. Please, if you're able, give what you can. Even the smallest donation could save a life. If you want to donate, please do call me and I will give you the emergency fund email address and website. Well, now we're going to have our hymn today, Just As I Am, without one plea.
Good morning, everybody. The hymn this morning, still in lockdown, is number 246, Just As I Am.
Me.
Thank you for that hymn. It's a lovely, lovely hymn. Well, I'm just going to say a few things about giving. I'm sure many clergy and church wardens with their PCCs are struggling at this time because of the COVID-19 virus, and it affects, as you know, so many in different ways. And no doubt the longest lasting consequences will be on the economies of businesses, small and large, local and multinational, including the government's finances. And of course churches, and particularly our own church at Holy Trinity, which is the main reason for this message this morning. Because having no church services for so long, and only now a few attending at present, and no fundraising events, it's taking its toll on our church finances, as many income streams have dried up. These include plate offerings and envelopes, coffee after church Gracewell services, and believe it or not, our income is under half it usually is a month. And that doesn't take into account any fees, incomes from weddings and funerals. If you are a giver and you're used to using envelopes and yellow gift aid envelopes, cash or cheques in the plate on a Sunday, please don't put your giving on furlough. Don't stop giving. There are other ways to give, and we really count on your financial help to be able to rise to the financial challenges the last few months has presented us with. Other ways that you can give are pay by backs, bank transfer to the church account. This is especially easy if you manage your bank account online. Call me or the church wardens or treasurer, who can give you details of this easy and painless procedure. 2. Give via our donations page on the church website, www.holytrinityweymouth.org, and then press the donate button. This works through PayPal, and so it's all very safe indeed. Or thirdly, set up a regular standing order from your bank account to the church account. Again, myself or the church wardens and treasurer can help you with this. It's easy. And finally, if you would like to make a one-off donation, we would be very grateful to you. Once again, please call, email or speak with the church wardens and treasurer if you would like to do any of these things. Thank you. Now we're going to watch a small video about giving produced by the Church of England.
During this difficult time when our church buildings are closed, we're still a church, meeting virtually for prayer services and fellowship, loving our neighbours by offering practical support to the vulnerable, and caring for our communities. The work of our church is reliant on people's generosity, a generosity that is a hallmark of a lived out faith and a testament to it. We give to our church in a variety of ways, but with the closure of all our buildings, we cannot receive all the gifts that we usually would. So we really need your help now. If you're able to give more at this time, here's how you can help.
Well, the end of June, beginning of July is Petertide, and over the last few weeks many people have been being ordained, have left theological college after their training or on local courses, as several people train these days, and have sought ordination. And I believe that some cathedrals and churches with their bishops have looked at various ways of being able to ordain candidates. In this diocese, we have decided to postpone the ordination days until we can all come together and the bishops of our diocese can lay hands on the candidates, which has been quite difficult because of touching. And as you know, the greatest form of ordination is the placing of the hands on the forehead and the anointing with the holy oil. Bishop Andrew Rumsey is the Bishop of Ramsbury, not been the Bishop of Ramsbury very long, and he has been doing several videos during lockdown. And a few weeks ago he did this video, and he got rather a nice voice, I thought, as he was out in the countryside singing one of my favourite hymns and talking to us a little bit about ordination.
Come, Holy Ghost, our souls inspire, and lighten with celestial fire. Thou the anointing Spirit art, who dost thy sevenfold gifts impart. Thy blessed unction from above is comfort, life, and fire of love. Enable with perpetual light the dullness of our blinded sight. Come, Creator Spirit. Good morning. Well, that hymn, that poem, is traditionally sung at ordinations this weekend, Petertide, the end of June, beginning of July, and like so many other things, that's suspended for now. But there's a gap, there's a pause where there was to be something, and we shall have to wait in an extended patience for that which is to come. And so I'll be thinking over the next few days, as I have this week, of all those preparing to undertake their ministry in the church. And it begins with that prayer to see things afresh by the power of the Spirit. What a great prayer to pray. Poets and artists have longed for that over the centuries, longed to recapture Wordsworth, Traherne. They all wanted to recapture that childlike sense of seeing the world as a picture, in picture terms. You know, when Jesus heals in one of his healings of blind people, when his eyes are opened, he compares those walking around to trees. And immediately he's a poet. As soon as he can see, he's able to compare and imagine the world like that. And of course, whenever Jesus heals people's physical sight in Scripture, it's an analogy for our inner sight too. It's about seeing properly, sensing, discerning in every way, not just with our eyes. And we long for that. Christ also said if we want to enter the kingdom of heaven, we have to do so as a little child. And I think that's part of what he means, that we have to see the world in all its dimensions as a gift from God, and not be tired and weary of it, and the dullness of our sight. There's a lovely poem Edwin Muir writes about the Transfiguration. I don't think we've talked about it at number 98 of these films. It's quite hard to keep track of what poems we've actually looked at together. But he talks about the source of all our seeing, rinsed and clean. Isn't that lovely? The source of all our seeing, rinsed and clean. Our hands made fit to handle holy things. And he's writing after the disciples had that transfiguration vision on the mountaintop with Jesus. As I was walking over here a few minutes ago, I walked past the field which has been mown, and it was hay, and I've photographed it previously, and then was mown a week or so ago and has been baled today. And it really struck me that if that had been a sculpture park or designated as such, all of these randomly placed blocks in the field would be a compelling artistic vision. We'd flock to it. It looked for all the world like an Anthony Gormley arrangement of sculpture, but it was just bales in a field that will be gone tomorrow. And so I pray today that you will and I will be able to have the source of our seeing rinsed and clean, and not just the way we view things, but the way we view people, that we view ourselves and the world around us would be given its proper dimension, depth, proportion and colour. God bless you as you go to ground.
Thank you, Bishop Andrew. Well, many of you will remember at Holy Trinity a few months ago, we had an ordinad training with us. We had on placement. Elaine was with us, and I'm pleased to say that she is now about to go to Cuddesdon Theological College. It's a great joy to have Elaine, husband and 2 children with us, and they were confirmed while they were with us. And coming from an evangelical background into a Catholic, Anglican Catholic parish was a great challenge, but I must say Elaine did embrace it. And she's made this little video as she prepares to go off to college with her family, and I'm sharing that with you today.
Hi, Father Andrew and Holy Trinity Church and beyond. My name is Elaine Galliot. You may recognise me from my time spent at Holy Trinity in the last couple of years, as I was discerning with the Church of England a call to ordained ministry. I'm pleased to say that I went to Bishop's advisory panel last year. I was successful, and my family and I are 3 weeks away from moving from Weymouth to Cuddesdon in Oxfordshire to take my place at Ripon College, where I shall be an ordinand. My journey to ordination has been a lengthy one, and actually that is how I met Father Andrew. Father Andrew was initially asked to have me at Holy Trinity as a kind of a placement where I would come and see everything, and we would have meetings, and he would talk through with me the call and my journey and how I'd got here. And actually I'd say that there was quite an impact there actually with not just the questions he asked, but the exploring nature, but he also challenged me on my thinking and on really my journey and my thoughts and beliefs about the Church of England. So it was a really good time of stretching, becoming deeper in my understanding. Well, that journey progressed. I am a member of St John's Church in Weymouth, the evangelical church, and it progressed, and I was sent to another church as well on a placement. But the end result was that God had placed the pieces of the puzzle together and created something quite beautiful, in that he was indeed calling me to that part in to be a part of his church, part of leading his church in the future. Obviously, it's God willing. I'm just going to college. They've said yes, that I can be trained for ordained ministry, but now the hard work begins, and now something called formation is going to be taking place. It's where I submit myself, submit my life, and ask God to transform me into all that he wants me to be. And whether that be a priest or deacon, or it might be another journey, who knows? But he is calling me, and we are saying yes. So we're moving from Weymouth 3 weeks today. It's very exciting. I'm very sad to leave Father Andrew, who we've become very good friends with, but we are also excited for the next step in this journey. Some of you may or may not know I had a very checkered past and a very difficult upbringing, and actually the fruit of that is that Jesus has not allowed anything to go to waste. So for my thoughts, for if I was asked if anyone was considering or looking at their journey and whether they feel that they could or they're good enough, I would say that God can do anything with anyone who is willing and is open to follow him and to fulfill his purpose. So if you do feel that it's something that you're called to, knock and he will answer. I found them to be very faithful, and as long as you are walking in his call, he will answer, and he makes our path straight. So yeah, that's really been my journey with regards to discernment, and it's a very exciting time, but also nerve-wracking. We've got boxes everywhere, and it's a time of transformation. I'm going with Maisie and Dylan, our twins, and my husband, and so things like work and things for my husband are all there in our forefront of our mind as we try and work things out, with also a global pandemic. So there's a lot of things and elements to it that we need to look at and work on. So thank you to Father Andrew for supporting me, being a spiritual advisor, to being actually a friend, and for playing such a big part in this journey for me and for my family. And in fact, it changed my theology, it changed my outlook, and gave me, well, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm eternally grateful. And so I sign off now, but God bless you. I am available on social media, and there is going to be a newsletter. So if you'd like to know more about the Christian faith or about discernment or vocations, then I would love to chat to you about my experiences. Thank you.
So as we come to the end of MORE TEA VICAR for this particular week, I'm just going to show you that I came across the other day. I don't know whether you can see it, but this is my first Eucharist video. I don't know whether you can see me. This was at Christ Church St Leonards-on-Sea in the Diocese of Chichester. And as you can see, it was back in 1987 on the 7th of July, and seems such a long time ago. So much water has passed under the bridge since then. But as I say, we've come to the end of today's programme, and I'm going to give you God's blessing now, and we're going to finish this morning with listening to our director of music, James, playing on the organ at St Thomas's, Stourbridge. And we hope to be listening to many more organ recitals and voluntaries on our own organ at Holy Trinity, Weymouth. So please bow your heads and ask for God's blessing upon you. And to God's gracious mercy and protection I commit you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord mercifully with his gracious favour look upon you and give you peace this day and always. Amen. Don't forget to join me at church on Sunday for our parish Eucharist, and then I'll see you again from the vicarage for MORE TEA VICAR next Thursday.